So, Wes, how much do you know about the lunar eclipse?
I just want some pizza, man.
Well, apparently it can make you pregnant.
Well, maybe extra anchovies.
So this week, Wes, we are talking about The House of the Devil.
Yeah. Congratulations on seeing this for the first time, Sean.
The House of the Devil is a 2009 American horror film written, directed, and edited by one Ty West. It stars Jocelin Donahue. Any relation to Phil?
Niece.
You made that up.
I did.
The great Tom Noonan, Mary Woronov.
I have facts about her later.
Greta Gerwig.
You know who that is, right?
No.
She's been nominated for Oscars now, the last few years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
AJ Bowen. And
he has got a beard.
Oh, that's AJ Bowen?
He's the bearded man.
And the lovely Dee Wallace.
Of course. We all know her.
Yes. Only for like 5 seconds, though. I was disappointed. I was hoping when I first saw her name, she'd have a bigger part to play.
Yeah.
But play she did not.
No, she did not.
The plot concerns a young college student who is hired as a babysitter at an isolated house and is soon caught up in bizarre and dangerous events as she fights for her life. The film's opening text claims that this is based upon true events, a technique used in some horror films, such as the Amityville Horror and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All true.
All
and
true.
Not horror related, but Fargo is also based on a true story, true events. That shit ain't real either.
No, sir. The film received fairly positive reviews. It did only make $101,215 against its $900,000 budget.
They ended up making more overall.
I'm sure home video sales probably pop that number up a bit. What is your history with this movie?
This came out in 2009. I was living up near the Detroit area. RoboCop was running amok. No, we were living in a nice area. I was with my ex, and we would like to go to the local Blockbuster and rent movies, and we were in the new release section, and we saw this one, and we thought it looked good. We like those kind of movies. We liked those kind of movies, and rented it, and we had a good time watching it. We had some beers and ate pizza and watched this movie, and we both agreed that it was great. Sean, you don't have one, but do you have any history with this movie that you were you familiar with it when I suggested it?
The only thing I knew about this movie is I used to see it a lot on Netflix. It would pop up in my suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other day, you said, hey, let's watch The House of the Devil. And I said, okay. And now here we are.
Now we're present day.
Present day. Fast forward to this day.
A week. Cool. Yep. Most people don't really have a relationship with this movie, but the people that do mostly love it. And I think if you look up the dumb websites that we talk about sometimes, it's mostly positive. So actually, do you want me to tell you about the style of movie that this is?
Yeah, let's do that first. Go ahead.
You ever heard of Mumblecore?
Mumblecore?
Yeah.
No.
It's a style of American independent film that it came to prominence in the mid 2000s, 2005, 6, maybe 7. Like the Duplass brothers, Greta Gerwig, who played Megan in this movie, Joe Swanberg made some really good independent mumblecore movies. Mumblecore actually refers to the style of movie, which is a lot of conversation. But some of the movies that are in the vein of what I'm speaking of are Baghead, Hannah Takes the Stairs, The Puffy Chair, and Drinking Buddies. I actually like this style of movie. Most people really probably don't. This was actually one of the first ones that's actually called Mumblecore. It's a movie that's made in the same vein, where it's very minimalistic and mostly based upon character and dialogue. This one's, I think, the best one, and this is the best example of Mumblegore. If you have no further questions, sir, I will stop mansplaining the style of movie, and we can actually get into it if you'd like.
Our movie begins in the 1980s. College student Samantha Hugh is inquiring about a house for rent.
Right beside a church.
Yes. Now, do you have anything to add to this? Because that's the only line of that whole thing that I have in here.
I would want to live next to a church like that. I felt like maybe if you have a party on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning people are showing up to church, and there's beer cans in your yard, and plus there's church bells and shit. I wouldn't want to live there. And we were introduced to Dee Wallace, who plays the landlady, and she's willing to waive the deposit and stuff. And okay, great, she agrees to all of it, but now she has to figure out how she's going to make first month's rent, which she owes in the next week, or within the next week or something like that. So this weekend's huge.
After a pretty awesome 80s synth song. I do like that opening title scene. I do like that.
It's a good synth intro.
She returns to her dorm only to find a sock on the doorknob left by her roommate. And we all know what that means, Wes.
Yeah, and she's like, it's morning. And all you can hear is groaning in there.
That's how I sound like when I'm at
Not verbatim. Well, okay. That's a little bit too much personal intel.
She storms off and sees an ad for a babysitting gig and places a call to a Mr. Ullman. At first, she leaves him a voicemail, but
This isn't a voicemail. This is what do you call it when you leave it on a voice machine?
it's a message. You are correct.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But as she starts to walk away from the payphone, it begins to ring, and it's Mr. Ullman, and he arranges a meeting that he never shows up to.
Yeah, the student affairs building. He's not really familiar with the layout of the campus. He's new to the area, he says.
He ghosts Samantha.
He ghosts her.
She returns to her dorm room. She cries for a while. Then she eats a candy bar.
She's hanging out in the dorm room, not doing anything, and the druggy goth girl wakes up and is like, literally. And she's like, some guy called for you. And Samantha's like, who? She's like, I don't know, some guy. I left his number somewhere around your desk. And she's like, starts messing around and look by your pens. I don't know. And she sees a number and she calls right away. And then all of a sudden we hear Tom Noonan.
Oh, thank goodness you called.
This is urgent. I need you tonight. I need you tonight if you can make it. And that's when the liaison is set up.
He invites her to his house that evening. She accepts and gets a ride to his remote mansion from her best friend, Megan.
Yeah, what song is playing when Megan goes to pick her up?
I don't know.
It's the breakup song by Greg Kihn. They don't ride them like that anymore. It's a good song. So they're both kind of weirded out when they walk up to the first time. I think that they like discuss like they looked at like the car that was in the driveway and it was a Volvo. And Megan goes, "Safest car on the road," which that comes back later. And who comes to the door, Sean?
One Mr. Tom Noonan.
He is always great, and he has that voice that I cannot replicate his voice, but he's very calming in the way he speaks. He seems nice enough at two He said that they're two lovely young women.
Ullman is his name, reveals that he does not have any children, but he and his wife have a grown son, which that sentence makes no sense at all.
We have a son. I'm afraid that he's grown. Tonight would only be about my elderly mother-in-law. My wife is very on edge about this.
And he states that because most people her age wouldn't respond for elderly care, he decided to post a babysitting.
Oh yeah, basically. Babysitters wanted.
He decided to post a babysitting job instead. Yes.
Because he thought it would cast a wider net. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. Thank you for your offer. I really have sympathy for your situation. And he's like, I'll double it, $200. And she's like, no, $300. And then she said $400. And he goes, okay. So they agree on $400 for the night, right?
Right, exactly.
Plus money for pizza.
This.
Which he brings up multiple times. They walk out. It kind of cuts to them walking out. And she goes, we said if it looks really crazy that we're not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe you want to do this. And Samantha goes,
it's $400 for 4 hours?
It's too good to be true. And Megan goes,
did you ever think it is too good to be true?
But
no.
She does reluctantly agree to pick Samantha up at 12:30 a.m.
12:30 a.m.
On her way home, Megan pulls over into a cemetery. She's trying to light a smoke when a strange man comes completely out of nowhere to offer her a light.
And yeah, she's like, where'd you come from anyway? That's weird. But then she takes his light and they get to talking for a second about the eclipse and stuff. And then all of a sudden he goes, wait, are you not the babysitter? She goes, no, I'm not the babysitter. And before she could say another word, kablooey!
She gets shot in the head.
Just like the guy in Pulp Fiction, only this was on purpose. And it's kind of a crazy scene. And there's blood everywhere.
Back at the house, Samantha encounters Vivian Ullman.
She's a really interesting woman, Mary Woronov. She was in Chopping Mall for a small part.
All right.
So she was friends with Andy Warhol, was in a lot of his weird pictures. She's friends with Lou Reed in the Velvet Underground back in the day. And those guys were the coolest guys ever. So good for her. I'm sure she did heroin with those guys at some point.
After they leave.
What's the last thing he says before they leave, Sean?
I don't know.
Make sure you order the pizza from the fridge.
Oh yeah, he's really
the number
insistent.
for the pizza.
He's really insistent about the pizza that she ordered.
Yeah, which is it's foreshadowing into what really is going on. But yeah, the pizza thing is weird. And at this point, we don't really know why this guy's pushing pizza. So now, what does Jocelin Donahue / Samantha decide to do?
She listens to her Walkman and dances around the house, accidentally breaking a vase. While cleaning up the mess, she discovers a cupboard containing old family photographs. In one photograph, a family that is not the Allmans stands next to the Volvo that she and Megan saw at the house.
At this point, she has to be thinking like maybe this isn't. I think that she's starting to wonder what's really going on.
Later, 3 corpses are shown in one of the rooms, implying that they were the family in the photographs and the true residents of the house.
So we know that.
Something is afoot.
Oh, finally we're starting to understand, something's not right here, because after someone gets shot in the face, we still weren't really sure that something's not right here.
I didn't. After she is shaken by noises in the house and the arrival of the pizza she ordered, delivered by the same man who murdered Megan, Samantha dials 911 but tells the operator that it was an accidental call.
So now we're into the part to where she eats the pizza. It doesn't look awful, but it does not look good.
By the way, as a pizza buff,
Sure.
holding a pizza vertically
Not good.
is going to fuck up that pizza.
Not good, buddy.
After attempting to eat some pizza, she spits it out and throws it away. She goes to investigate some strange noises, and in doing so, drugs, unbeknownst to her that were on the pizza, start to take effect, which causes her to pass out.
It gets really silent and whatever. We start to see flashes of the eclipse, right? Or something like that. We start to see flashes of that. And then we start to see flashes of her with a rag in her mouth being tied down in a room with a pentagram and whatever. And now we're introduced to Mother. Is that who the Rocky Dennis faced girl?
Yes. Mother slices her arm and pours her blood into a goat skull, using the blood to draw occult symbols on Samantha's stomach and forehead, and then forces Samantha to drink the blood.
And she starts going crazy and she gets loose.
She does. She manages to escape by freeing her hand, and then she scratches Mother's face. She then proceeds to stab Mr. Allman and then pokes one of Victor's eyes out.
Yeah, the bearded man, he gets his eye. Some of the gore here is actually pretty good here at the end.
This is when, okay.
Now you're back. Now your phone's back on the yeah.
If you want to gauge what kind of simpleton I am, now I'm back in the story.
Of course. I don't blame you whatsoever.
After she finds Megan's bloody corpse in the kitchen.
Her face was decapitated from her face. Wait, what?
I didn't even notice.
Her face was all blown off, and she looked at it and she goes. So she's running away, slipping on blood as she's running away.
She's being chased by Victor and eventually is shot, but she manages to cut his throat.
She slices his neck, and it's pretty mumble gory.
Horrific images of Mother begin to appear in her mind.
It's Satan or Mother or whoever. Yeah, I don't know. But she's getting these visions. You're right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mrs. Allman catches up with her, but while she's distracted, Samantha stabs her to death.
She gets hit in this back with the... Yeah, well, by the way, Mary Woronov, does she take off a wig?
She does, and she starts staring out of the window.
And it turns out that she has the same hair as her husband/brother.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Now, all we have left is Mr. Tom Noonan, and she runs out into like some kind of small, like family style cemetery. And he starts talking about how they're going to speak to you. You just need to follow them. Our work here is done. And blah, blah, blah. And she starts freaking out and like, all this crazy stuff. And he finds out that she has the gun and he's like pointing it at him. And he's like,
kill me if you want. I'm just a messenger.
And what does she do, Sean?
Instead of shooting Allman, she horrifies him by shooting herself in the noggin.
Not a very good job, though. But what happened, Sean?
The scene cuts to a TV news broadcast about the strange lunar eclipse the night before, which confounded scientists due to its abrupt ending. Samantha is in a hospital bed, her head in bandages. A nurse walks in and pats the unconscious Samantha on the stomach, saying, "You'll be just fine."
Both of you.
Both of you. Yeah.
And that, Wes, is how the movie ends.
I like the ending. It's a grim ending that actually ends more grim than what it really needs to be.
So, Wes, what are your final thoughts and grading on The House of the Devil?
I love it. It's my style of movie. I like a character build up with a slow burn. I'm not the only one. Just like John Lennon said, some say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I love it. I know that you don't agree. I give it an A. People with good taste would like this movie, Sean. I preface that with the question of how do you feel about this movie? How do you feel about it?
It's fine. C.
pizza delivery.
Pizza? Oh, bullshit. You're not knocking me up.
Dude, I ordered that pizza before the show. It was supposed to show up at this time.
Oops.
On the next bizarre show.
That is not cranberry sauce.
Hey, it's Sean from The Bizarre Show. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, give it a like and make sure you subscribe. We have more videos on the way. Cheers!